My people of YouTube, today we're going to watch another video for Lord of the Mysteries from Annie News regarding cut content. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for the original video. Check out the video. They do a great job of including cut content from the novels alongside the episodes we're watching. Other than that, sit back. Let's get to it.
The lore behind Lord of Mysteries is both fascinating and overwhelming. Whether it be Beyonders, the paths,
I mean, shit, it is a lot. It is a lot, but
it all takes place in. All of it
that's
is
one of the
so
charms.
meticulously crafted and richly layered that it pulls you deeper with every revelation. None of it is spoon-fed to you either, so you're kind of piecing it all together just like how Klein is. It's episode 2 that plunges us into that world of mystery,
feather,
and
bro.
we don't really get a chance to absorb all the information.
That feather's gonna haunt me, bro, I swear.
Combine this with the fact a lot of that information is condensed for brevity's sake, and I can see why so many people come out confused.
That's
I'm
facts.
sure over time...
Honestly, that's facts. Like, that's honestly facts. Like, I know a lot of things, like a lot of the complaints with the first 2 episodes was pacing. It was pacing because it flew by super fast. It went by fast. We got a lot the first 2 episodes, and it was a lot, but it went by super fast as well because the subtitles. But honestly, alright. So I'm not a person that likes to get involved in dramas, drama videos. I'm not a person who usually does do those. So for those who are aware, there is Lord of the Mystery drama occurring right now on Twitter with reaction channels. I wasn't aware of this till like 2 days ago because one of my members sent me someone made a tier list. They made a tier list chart for reactors for Lord of the Mysteries. And I'm on that list. Like, damn, that's crazy shit. Like, I wasn't aware of that because I'm not on Twitter. I had to bring that shit back from social sighting after not using it for a couple of years. And it's like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, what the fuck is happening? I saw a little bit of it was happening, occurring. Nah, so I'm gonna give y'all my 2 cents. I'm gonna give y'all my 2 cents on the whole thing. So I'm not honestly gonna make a big ass video about it. So from what I understand, I know it's a lot of big channels are having issues understanding the show. Some believe that you need to watch old Neo class and chibi shits or read comment sections in order to understand what's happening on screen. Now, sure, you could go and read the comment section. Some people do leave that. My videos, people tend to do that. They tend to clarify if I'm wrong, which I always appreciate because I want to make sure I understand everything's happening on screen. You don't have to do that, but like again, I appreciate it. But I firmly believe Lord of the Mysteries is one of those videos, not one of those shows where you need to pause and go back. Unless you're cracked out of your mind, you're a great reader, you're a great speed reader, so you could read the subtitles as they go by. You're understanding. That's good on you. I'm not one of those people. I'm not that cracked out. But this is a show where you need to go back and rewatch. You need to go back and make sure you're understanding things. I know pausing it's a big ass taboo in the anime community, which I don't know why the fuck it is. Because, I mean, some people are just broke bitches. They can't afford Crunchyroll or other pirated sites. They can't afford it, so they watch the episode through your videos. Fuck them. And, I believe you should pause. No matter what show it is, you should pause and go back to make sure you understand it. Fuck entertainment. Make sure you're understanding what you're watching. Like, I firmly believe this is one of those shows where you need to go back. Like, it's for understanding, and it's also because the pace of the first 2 episodes. Now, after that, it gets pretty easy, pretty simple. Now, I don't believe you don't need to watch old Neo class or old Neo's classes. You don't have to watch the TV videos. You don't have to watch these videos at all to understand what's happening during the episodes. They actually put everything there, not clearly, because it is a lot of information, but it is there. All the things are in the episodes to make sure you understand it. They're all there. They're all throwing you rapidly, but they're there. So but again, that's just my 2 pieces on that shit. I'm one of those channels where I have some people. I mean, some people aren't. Some people are just trying to watch the show casually, sit back and react to it and watch it themselves, enjoy it, which, it's fine. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. I'm a channel that kind of does both. I like to balance my shit out, especially Lord of the Mysteries, where I want to make sure I'm understanding everything. I'm generally curious, and intrigued by this whole universe. That's why we're all watching these videos as well, to learn more about it, but I have to read the light novel or the novel in general. Generally, if as a reactor or as a viewer, casual viewer yourself, if you yourself are not putting the work in to understand what's happening on screen, if you just watch the episode and that's it, that's kind of that is on you. That is on you. Now, granted, people are different mentally. They digest information at certain speeds. Some people are slow. Some people are very good at it. I don't think people should be toxic towards those people that generally trying to understand the show and then they're still confused. People should not be fucking toxic towards that because it literally looks bad for the community. But help them out. Try to help them out in the comment section. Help them out. Instead of being assholes and being toxic, help them out. Include that information in the comment section. I appreciate people that I always appreciate that kind of feedback on my videos. in the comment section, especially for Lord of the Mysteries. I love when people correct me when I'm wrong, and include the include the information without we're wrong and stuff, without spoiling. Obviously, I always appreciate that. I believe people should do that more than just being complete dumbasses and assholes and talking shit about the reactors themselves. Because bro, some people also need to understand that people watch a lot of shows. They're not really good at keeping information. But that's my 2 cents on it. That's my 2 cents. Let's continue this video.
Repetition will make lots of these concepts more clear, but the parts of the web novel this episode should have covered has so much more to it. So, if you're curious to see what you missed and learn more about the world Lord
Tell
of
me
Mysteries
about that damn feather.
stick around since this will cover all of that. Let's get started. Last episode, we ended things right after Klein finished his first attempt in the Grey Fog, so let's pick things up immediately after. Setting aside the whole chapter dedicated to Alger and Audrey, there was a blink and you miss it moment giving context to what just happened with Klein.
Really?
You see, these 4 dots were clearly a result of the ritual. They seemed to correspond with the 4-corner setup allowing it to happen, so Klein figured it meant he no longer needed to gather food in order to do the ritual. As amazing as that was if true, what was terrifying was the idea that Chinese divinations from Earth could produce real and lasting effects.
Yeah, it actually works on Earth.
It was yet another of the strange and unnatural things Klein would be exposed to. Enough that he was starting to see why the fear of the unknown was even a thing to begin with. Now, 3 hours had passed since he first entered the fog, so before he would contemplate what exactly just happened, Klein decided it was best to eat first. He would prepare a meal out of some bread and potatoes, knowing full well he can't just eat meat whenever he wants anymore.
It's not a luxury.
It was a clear downside to being in this new world of his.
It's not a luxury in this world.
A full stomach would allow him to think things over clearly, though, so it was after eating that he would come to the conclusion becoming a Beyonder was a priority. After Alger and Audrey had expressed such interest in it, to Klein this seemed like the best way to overcome the unknown at the moment. Of course, he had no idea how exactly to become a Beyonder, but if he waited long enough, eventually the formula for the Spectator Potion would become known to him. Alger was eventually going to tell Audrey it, so it was after that he could just create it himself.
Shit.
Klein's next
That's not bad, because it happens suddenly in the show. It happens very suddenly. It happens quickly. It doesn't happen until we meet Dunn. Today, he decides to become a full Beyonder, but the consideration of becoming a Beyonder to excel in this world is actually pretty cool. And the fact he's not wrong. You do have the option to just sit back and wait for the Spectator Potion. So Auger gave her the recipe.
Priority was to figure out what happened to the original Klein, so that included why he killed himself and what happened in the events leading up to it. This also included trying to recover as many memory fragments as possible, so any clues helping in that were important too. Luckily for Klein, his original self liked to take notes. He had stacks of diaries detailing specific days and what he had learned during them. There were topics of history like the primordial times and...
Oh shit, hold on. I like this. 12th of May, Mr. Azek mentioned that the common language used by the Balam Empire in the southern continent also developed from the ancient Fasak, a branch of Yoan. Why is this so? Does this mean that every sentient living being once spoke the same language? No, there has to be a mistake. According to the revelation of Evernight and the Book of Storms, giants were not the only hegemons of the world in primordial times. There are also elves, mutant, and dragons. Anyway, these are what? I don't believe this. I'm not talking this up to myth and fantasies. With how massive this world is and crazy it is. Maybe it is. Maybe there were elves and elves and mutants, I would have put it far. Dragons maybe too, They're in the primordial times though. Shit. All right, 16th of May, Senior Associates Professor Cohen and Mr. Azek discussed the inevitability of the Age of Steam. Mr. Azek opined that it was just a coincidence because it wasn't for the Emperor Rosa, the northern continent would still be wielding swords like the southern continent. They made guns. Mentor argued that Mr. Azek had placed too much emphasis on the contribution of an individual. He believes that with progress, even there wasn't an Emperor Rosa. Placed too much emphasis. He believes that with progress, even if there wasn't an Emperor Rosa, there would be an Emperor Robert. Therefore, the Age of Steam might come late, but eventually come nevertheless. I found little meaning in their discussion. I prefer discovering new things. Excuse me. And rivaling the hidden past. Perhaps I am more suited to study archaeology than history. It's funny how they bring in Mr. Isaac now, because we don't really hear about Mr. Isaac till episode 4? Yeah, in episode 4?
The inevitability of the Age of Steam, then the more recent entries regarding the discovery
29th of May, Welch found me and told me that there had been acquired a notebook from the 4th epoch. Oh my goodness, a notebook from the 4th epoch. He didn't want to ask the archaeology department students for help, so he came to Naya and me to help him decode the contents. How can I refuse? Of course, I can only do it after my graduation defense. I can afford diverting my attention to the stage. The Antigonus book.
Of a notebook from the 4th
epoch.
A period of time from over 1,000 years ago.
I didn't think you saying epoch.
So, this was a very old notebook, and the research within was a goldmine for any history student. Reason being that the history of the 4th epoch was incredibly mysterious and inherently incomplete. Any tombs, cities, and records were always far and few between, and for any of the records that did exist, they were typically provided by one of the 7 major churches. So, who knows how accurate any of that is, but what's seemingly common knowledge are 3 nations that supposedly existed in the 4th epoch. There was the Solomon Empire, the Tudor Dynasty, and the Transuist Empire, all of which were powers from a time also referred to as the Age of the Gods. The epochs before were much more like legends, so for a history major like Klein, the 4th was definitely the most interesting.
It sounds intriguing, honestly. Klein's hold on.
Diaries then proceed to detail.
Shit, here we go. 19. Actually, this one I think we read during the ongo, actually, during the show. I've seen the notebook by comparing sentences, structures, and root words. I discovered this is a modified form of ancient Fasak. More precisely, over the course of its 1,000-year history, the Fasak language had changed constantly a little at a time. 20th of June, we have deciphered the contents of the first page. The author was a member of a family called the Antigonus, which, Yes. 21st of June, he mentioned the Dark Emperor. This is the anachronistic with regards to the time this notebook is deduced to be written. Is Professor wrong? Is Dark Emperor the common title for every emperor of the Solomon Empire? So the Dark Emperor becomes the Solomon Empire.
Progress.
The Antigonus family apparently had a very few high standing in the Solomon Empire. The author mentions that he was making a secret transaction with a person named Tudor. Tudor is related to the Tudor Dynasty. That's true. A secret transaction between the both of them, between the Solomon Empire and the Antigonus and the Tudor Dynasty.
Through the notebook, a lot of which gives context to everything Klein read when he first awoke. There was the discovery of the text being a modified version of ancient Fasak, the author being a member of the Antigonus family, the family's high standing within the Solomon Empire, a secret transaction with a person named Tudor, then the author's mission to visit the nation of the Evernight.
From the new deciphered concept, the author had accepted a mission to visit the nation of the Evernight, situated at the summit of the highest peak of the Hordiches mountain range. Oh my goodness. Oh my goddess. How can a nation exist at the summit of that peak, which is over 6,000 meters above sea level?
It was a domain supposedly located on the highest peak of the Hornacis mountain range. The next entry was, are these strange things real? Then finally the iconic line of everyone will die, including
the 28th.
Me. So there was quite a bit of information Klein had sifted.
It is funny, the
28th
was an anime drop and this shit dropped.
He could piece any of it together, though, that the inspectors would interrupt, seeking answers to the mysterious suicide of his colleagues Naya and Welch. They were the two interpreting the Antigonus notebook alongside Klein. When Leonard asked him about that final line in his latest diary, Klein decided the best thing was to just be frank. Naturally, there were certain things that could be said and those that couldn't, but as a veteran keyboard warrior, Klein was skilled at navigating situations like this. So, the whole interrogation would end without Klein being taken in, a different outcome from what we saw in the anime. He did suspect he was being watched though, so in an attempt to make it seem like he was truly in danger, Klein decided to act panicked. The inspectors had showed little interest in his spectacle, allowing Klein to calm down a bit. He would rest easy knowing he wasn't in that much trouble yet. This would then lead to a whole chapter dedicated to his cooking, time he would use to reflect on the past as well as the new simple life he was thrust into. Melissa would then come home and be shocked by the meal he cooked, then the two would share a heartwarming moment as brother and sister. The night would then end mostly peaceful and uneventful, but it was once morning came that Inspector Dunn would come knocking again. He had found proof confirming Klein went to Welch's place on the night he died, so now he was back to take Klein in for more questioning. Klein had already revealed everything he knew, but still that wasn't enough to prove his innocence. This put his transmigration secret at risk, and since the only other person he knew was a transmigrator was assassinated, Klein wasn't too keen on them finding out about it.
Gotta hide it.
This led to his attempt at escape, which in the novel was pretty much like how we saw in the anime. The only difference is that there wasn't this whole Inception-like sequence suggesting the encounter was a dream to begin with. It was once Klein had awoken from it that he was surprised to see it was only 2 a.m. still.
I mean, granted, it is. I mean, yeah, that is for, you know, just the purpose of the dongle, you know, add more visualization, some awesome visuals, because that sequence was awesome. That was an awesome sequence, so that wasn't even in the novel at all. It just went straight to him waking up.
They're waiting for him in the hallway, except now he was introducing himself as a Nighthawk. It was a name Klein recognized as one of the code names for the Church of the Evernight Goddesses Beyonder teams. A revelation that made Klein think Dunn had manipulated his dreams in a way that seemed like complete control over it. What it really was, though, was simply Dunn entering his dream, then providing the guidance he thought was necessary. It was all part of figuring out whether Klein was telling the truth or not. By getting him to recall his memories.
At first, I was really confused about that part.
His emotions and dark thoughts should have become a lot more amplified. That being the case, whatever stories Klein tells there would be much more believable. Now, that may be how it worked for most others, but for Klein, he found it wasn't like a dream at all. You see, he clearly remembered having rational thoughts, so anything Dunn saw was only what Klein wanted him to see.
Ooh.
It was in the anime that the spirit medium would analyze Klein's thoughts immediately after this, but in the novel, Dunn would instead have to take Klein to where she is first. This would have them share a carriage ride to Welch's apartment, during which the two would discuss the possible outcomes here. Obviously, escape was impossible, but Dunn didn't fault him for trying. Reason being that if it was him being taken in, then he would have done the same.
That's all
This is because regardless of whether he remembers committing the crime or not, if proven guilty, Klein's life would be over regardless. That being the case, it was a safer gamble to just try and escape than start a new life in the southern continent. If the medium proves Klein truly doesn't remember anything though, then next Dunn would have to make sure Klein isn't cursed, possessed by cacodemons, or carrying any psychological problems. It was the ideal outcome should everything go properly. In practice, supernatural events like this rarely ever did though, since for Dunn, his experiences proved otherwise. Like, there was this one case where he had to deal with an evil cult, and it was here live sacrifices were made via suicide to please an evil god they worshipped. One of the followers defected and reported it, resulting in an investigation that would reveal the god they worshipped was nothing but a randomly thought-up entity meant to make the leader rich.
So y'all got scammed? You guys got finessed and scammed? You guys did sacrificial rituals and got scammed to a fake entity just for the money, for somebody to get money? That is wild. I mean, shit, but it's also real. You know, we're not going to get into what occur in situations, but this does occur. This does happen with dumbasses and scammings, you know, but that's wild.
All members minus the whistleblower were then arrested. Then, after intense evaluations clearing him of the same things that Klein would be tested for, he would be released into the public to start over. He would get a job, happily married, and have 2 children, but despite living a life as pleasant as could be, this whistleblower still ended up strangling himself to death sometime later.
Oh shit.
So, the moral of the story is that despite escape from the supernatural seeming likely, there's always the possibility it might just be temporary. Kinda like the way death is in Final Destination.
Temporary.
What then was the best way to resolve this?
I'm coming back for you.
Well, Klein believed it might be to become a Beyonder. Now, it was once they arrived at Welch's apartment that immediately Klein would feel like he was surrounded by something. It was only him and Dunn around, yet for some reason Klein felt like the area was crowded. As it turns out, this feeling of being watched stemmed from the numerous spirits that were apparently spying on him.
That's crazy.
Spirits which the medium Daly was just in contact with. Normally, Daly wouldn't take any measures to make her psychoanalysis comfortable, but because Klein wasn't an enemy and more so just a witness, fragrances were given to him to mitigate pain and make him more susceptible to the process as a whole. In the anime, the whole thing had happened really quick, but here this entrance into his mind happened slowly. Eventually, Klein would be plunged into a dreamlike state similar to the fog, except this time there wasn't a lingering sense of madness present.
It was beautiful and peaceful.
Instead, there was only a calm voice bewitching Klein into a state that would hopefully reveal what really hid underneath. When nothing was unearthed, Daly simply let Klein go and done was finished. We didn't get that same level of hide-and-seek as what the anime showed, but I'm glad they added it since the whole sequence was a lot more tense and eventful.
It was.
It was once Klein
the hidden memories of
despite Dunn saying
being transmitted to life.
Klein was still worried whatever evil spurred him into suicide was still after him. Dunn assured him that 80% of survivors in incidents like these typically didn't experience any horrifying after effects,
80%? There's still 20%.
For Klein, 4/5 still wasn't safe enough. That's when Dunn would suggest joining the church as a Beyonder, since should something happen, the Nighthawks or the power they provide would certainly be able to help him. The only thing it would cost would be his freedom. That and the risk of losing control as a Beyonder. This is because out of all the cases the judiciary teams like the Nighthawks take care of, 1/4 of them are usually Beyonder related. Most of those are Beyonders who lose control, and a large number of that are usually their very own teammates.
Literally though.
Such was the danger that came when trying to become a Beyonder. Why is that the case? Well, that was something Klein would understand only if he joined them. Whether as a civilian staff member or a full-fledged Beyonder himself, joining the Nighthawks would reveal all their secrets and the dangers plaguing their Beyonders. That being the case, the safest thing to do would be to join as a civilian, then decide whether to become a Beyonder after.
In the show, you just go straight towards it.
The main problem with that, though, is that one doesn't simply become a Beyonder just because they choose to do so. With the Nighthawks being a division under the Church of the Evernight Goddess, the church needed to first accept him. Luckily for Klein, not only was he a history graduate, which the church urgently needed, his recent incident indicated he was lucky. It was a quality that often got people accepted into the church.
He has that luck.
Why, might you ask, does the church need people well-versed in history? Well, as an organization that often encounters documents and objects from the 4th Epoch or earlier, having a history specialist to decipher them was essential. There was, however, a strict confidentiality clause preventing just anyone from becoming a member, mainly due to their lack of trust regarding outsiders. That's Dunn believed humanity's stupidity was beyond imagination, and Klein could only agree with an iconic quote from Roselle.
The only lessons humans can learn from history is that humans do not gain any lessons from history. Hey, y'all know the term history tends to repeat itself? Is because people don't know how to go back and understand history. Literally that. I don't blame you, Dunn. I don't blame you at all.
In the end, Klein still wasn't sure whether he would join the church, but the idea of becoming a civilian staff member
in the show, it just goes fast.
The pay was similar to that of the lecturer position he was applying for, and it would only go up in accordance with his experience and contributions. The only downsides were a minimum 5-year commitment, a lifetime confidentiality agreement, and the inability to leave the city without express permission to do so.
You literally give up your
freedom.
There
were also no weekends, since shift work could be given at any time.
It's crazy. No days off? No weekends?
It was before Klein had come to the decision to become a Beyonder that he would first go back home to contemplate his options. He would spend a great deal of time comparing all the advantages and disadvantages. It was a thorough and comprehensive thought process that covered pretty much everything. What eventually went to sway his decision, though, was an interesting quote that went like this: "The inferior recluse hides away in the wild, the superior the crowd." It's a quote that essentially means it's better for him to hide his identity as a Nighthawk rather than anything else. Doing so would also teach him concepts that would certainly help in the Grey Fog, so if he was to truly take advantage of those he brought into it, upping his general knowledge was definitely the best way to do so. Fast forward past the bit of lore regarding the world's transit system.
Like, especially, honestly, especially, like becoming a Beyonder opens so many doors for information. Especially to the O'Neill himself. Like, you're learning a lot, rituals, this and that. You know, there's a lot of information you could get from being a Beyonder. Literally, just use the Nighthawks to your advantage of getting information as well. That way, because, you know, Klein's whole goal is to go back, to return back to his world. So, what better way to do that, you know, join the Nighthawks?
And would find himself on his way to become a Nighthawk. At the pub, he would witness the grotesque sight of 2 dogs rapidly hunting hundreds of rats, a spectacle built upon a betting sport to see which dog could catch the most. The bartender would then direct him to a different location known
the
as
actual
Blackthorn
headquarters
Security Company, the place where we see him meet Roseanne. She's been part of the Nighthawks for about 5 years now, and her father was a member who'd sacrificed himself around that same time as well.
Shit.
She would lead him to a room known as the Jonas Gate, as that was the area Dunn was currently on watch in. His contract would then be signed as quickly as we saw in the anime. Then the Blackthorn Security Company was revealed to actually be the 7th unit of the Awa County Police's Special Operations Department.
Named Awa County Unit 7?
Units 1 to 4 did basic security and police stuff, while Units 5 and up handled supernatural incidents in whatever city they were stationed in.
We covered the man and
For the
shit.
Nighthawks specifically,
they
handled
stuff.
incidents related to followers of the Evernight Goddess, specifically those in their own city of Tingen. Unit 6 were the mandated punishers of the Lord of Storms, and they handled the area around the Pier region.
Oh shit.
Unit 5 was a group known as the Machinery Hive Mind, and
this
they were
got brought up in
responsible
episode 5
for the university area and suburbs. Now,
like every church has their own policing spots.
Big at all, since the total number of them was
another units.
There were 6 formal members who acted as Beyonders, then another 6 who worked as civilian staff, Klein included. This brings us now to quite a bit of lore, since Dunn's conversation here talked about everything from the myth of creation to the Beyonder potion system.
Really?
If we focus on the myth of creation first, the story shared is surprisingly consistent across all major churches.
The myth of creation.
None devalued the tales of the other gods, so either the creation myth was real, or the churches had a long history of interreligious conflict, ultimately resulting in a strategic shared myth that they could all agree upon.
I can see that, honestly.
Either way, in every scenario, it all began with the Creator. They had awoken from chaos, shattered the darkness that enveloped everything, then fused into the universe to make all that exists. Every part of their body had become something.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on that. You can see different body parts resembling different creatures. But that's, first of all, it's actually insane. But I can't see that. Like, that they have 7 churches, and then, you know, everybody has a different belief. And that creates a whole sphere of trouble entirely. And then, you know, everybody coming into accordance for a general center of belief is crazy. But I believe that. I believe that. But so far we touched upon the Creator. We've heard the Creator a little bit. I think was it the Demon Sect episode? I think we got mentioned of the Creator. And then there's a true Creator. I know the true Creator is like somebody completely differently from the actual Creator itself. It's like, I don't say the devil, but it's like, you know, someone that's supposed to exist, but he does, supposedly says. But we haven't truly dove into like the Creator, the true Creator, none of that. We haven't really dove into that like that deeply in the Dango yet, so I'm leaving it to that. But so the eyes resemble the sun and the crimson moon. The lungs are the elves. The hearts are the giant. The heart is the giants. The brain is the dragons. Livers are treants. The treants. Kidneys are feathers, serpents. Hair is phoenixes. Ears, demonic wolves. Mouth and teeth are mutants. Stomach intestines, evil patterns, and evil parts and devils. Evil parts are devils, evil spirits, and sea monsters. Spirits created gods. Wisdom created humans. It's actually cool. The spirits are seen as created gods inside that body.
The most important, however, was
the
his
Creator,
spirit, since that became the other deities like the eternal blazing sun, the Lord of Storms, and the God of Knowledge and Wisdom. His wisdom had also given birth to humanity, and all that would be part of an era known as the First Epoch. It was a period of time otherwise known historically as the Chaos Epoch. The Second Epoch was a bit unclear, but it's written that this was the era when the Evernight Goddess awoke. Together, her and the other gods would work together to help humanity survive the cataclysm. It was a new era of strife defining the Third Epoch. This would be the same time that Mother Earth and the God of Combat would appear as well. Then finally the God of Craftsmanship would be born in the Fourth Epoch. So it's from this that the more ancient gods were the more traditional, making the Evernight Goddess not as orthodox as the original 3. She, however, was well known by many titles, most of which—
The Evernight Goddess is nobler than stars and more eternal than eternity. She is also the Lady of Crimson, the Mother of Secrets, the Empress of Disaster and Horror, Mistress of Calm and Silence. That's some Riz Lord into it, but that's crazy. We got the different epochs. Oh, hold on. I like these. You know, the start. The first epoch.
Period of time
Age of
otherwise
Chaos.
known
The Chaos
historically
Age.
as
The
the
Chaos
Chaos
Epoch.
Epoch.
The second
epoch was a bit unclear, but it's written that this was the
churches
era
helped.
when the Evernight goddess awoke.
Helped humanity.
Together, her and the other gods would work together to help humanity survive the cataclysm. It was a new era of strife defining the third epoch. This would be the same time that Mother Earth and the god of combat would appear as well. Then finally the god of craftsmanship would be born in the fourth epoch.
And then we know it changed the
so
goddess to machinery.
It's from this that the more ancient gods were the more traditional, making the Evernight goddess not as orthodox as the original.
And we know the fifth shit goes down a little bit with
However,
Taken City.
Was well known by many titles, most of which Klein's mother would recite every evening before dinner.
Klein's mother,
Lady
yeah,
of
as a
Crimson
prayer.
Symbolized
it feels
the red moon, tying the Evernight goddess to the eye of the creator from which it came. So, if the first three gods came from the creator's spirit, it's just as impressive that the Evernight goddess came from its eye.
Yeah?
All the other gods had similar explanations too, but for the most recent upstart of the god of craftsmanship, their church was relatively weak until the creation of the steam engine.
And it changed.
Now, with humanity being born from the creator's wisdom too, that meant everything stemmed from the same origin. They may not be blessed with magical powers right from the get-go, but over time, humanity figured out how to obtain that power via other means. This would be the power of the Beyonders. They found that by using the correct parts of evil spirits, dragons, monsters, magical trees, flowers, or crystals, combining them together would create a potion. Consuming this potion would then provide some sort of special ability, the power of which depended on how high grade the potion was. Consuming them didn't always mean success though, as there were three possible outcomes of failure. First was mental death and the complete breakdown of the body, a terrible fate in which the person would become a monster. Second was a change in personality that made the person cold, cruel, and indifferent. Then the third was a mental disorder, turning the person crazy instantly.
So you go wicked.
That was what Dunn meant by losing control.
Your personality changes.
Apparently, people in this category became more devilish than the devil. It was the Beyonders
That's a crazy description, honestly.
Who figured this out through rigorous experimentation, eventually perfecting the potion system with the help of the Blasphemy Slate. What is the Blasphemy Slate? Well, that was the most critical factor in determining a potion system formation and completion.
They contain the original tarot cards.
It was with that they were able to form a tiered system of chains into stable progression paths, a concept you might be more familiar with as sequences. Each sequence is numbered from 1 to 9, and the lower the number, the higher the grade of potion. Currently, each of the 7 major churches...
I'm generally curious. Is there more? Imagine that there's more than just after one, there's another level or a couple other levels. You prestige, not like nobody's gotten to that point, but it's actually possible. You need to be built different. I wonder if that's actually a thing.
Control of at least one complete sequence, while others have remained incomplete for centuries to millennia. For a bit more context on the Blasphemy Slate, all that's known about it is that it was created by some evil gods. No one knows how it was made, what it contains, or what's so special about it, but should anyone discover any information pertaining to it, it was of the utmost importance to report it immediately. Dunn's next point highlights the further dangers of losing control.
I do want to dive back into more of the Blasphemy Slate
in the show, hopefully. Spiritual perception. You see, it's not uncommon for someone to be born with the partial characteristics of a Beyonder. This means they can hear things others can't hear or see things others can't see, placing them onto a sequence they might not even know about. Should they then consume a potion that differs from the sequence they're already on, the effects of doing so could range from mental disorder to loss of control to even death. A Beyonder can't stray from one path if they've already chosen another. To do so would result in warped powers and most certainly lead to a semi-deranged state of cruelty and insanity. Now, this much is pretty easy to avoid, but when it comes to losing control, the most common trigger is speed. What I mean is that should one consume a higher grade potion without first absorbing and digesting the full effects of the previous,
you need to actually
madness would accumulate and that person would lose control eventually. There's no telling how long it takes for a potion to be fully digested, but as is standard with the Nighthawks, and then we know about potion can only be taken every 3 years.
You gotta pretend to be
It was a strict waiting period that even then still resulted in numerous losses every year. Finally, the deeper one progresses, the more enhanced their perception becomes, and this in turn exposes the Beyonder to illusions, spiritual enticements, and all sorts of hidden dangers. Unless that Beyonder has incredible willpower, they'll always be at risk of getting overwhelmed by madness. one small spark of desire or greediness will ultimately lead to their demise.
That's so delicate.
So, as
God damn.
the Nighthawks once said, Beyonders are guardians, but also a bunch of miserable wretches
Literally.
Constantly fighting against dangers and madness. It's an amazing quote that sums up their existence nicely.
Literally,
and
yeah.
with that, I think that's a pretty good place to stop. So, if you liked what you saw and want to see more, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to do multiple videos.
Check out his video. I still need to cover his Overlord video as well. One of my things I love about it is this, the mythic creation. So there's the creator. Oh shit. The EPOCHS though. Oh my god. Because like I've always learned that into more of the EPOCHS, you know, the past history of it as well.
The other deities like the eternal blazing sun, all that is known historically.
Chaos epoch, the second epoch, third.
This would be the same
second
time
one
together
the
to
cataclysm event.
Make would recite every text came from the creator.
But pretty much from what I got from this video about, you know, a lot of things were cut out. It was mainly about Klein deciding to become a Beyonder. In the show, it happens fast. Like he, you know, Dunn brings it up to they bring it up to him during that one episode. You know, during that one event, the dream after the dream event at night. After that event, you know, we go back to, you know, he goes to the dogfight shit. He goes to the security company, and he starts there. Then he talks to O'Neill about the Rosa notes. He deciphers it, becomes a seer. To that, you know, it happens relatively fast. But you know, we don't really get to see the thought process of him. You know, thinking about it, like, oh shit, you know, should I do this and that? The benefits of being a Beyonder. We don't even get to go into the actual the benefits of kind of Beyonder, how you become a Beyonder entirely. Besides the whole besides the first episode where, you know, Augur and Audrey had the conversation, but you know, this one is actually more fleshed out. Obviously, we got to talk about the history, which honestly I'm happy talking about the history in this video. Like, yes, I want to know more about the history because they brought in the creator, they brought in the true creator. They're bringing out like big names here, not names, but like, you know, big beings that are, you know, they sound great and grand, but you know, I want to dive into more of those. You know, granted, we're starting in the anime yet, we're starting in the show, so they might dive into those later. They might dive into those later when the event, you know, when the time is right. But I can't really dive into those. I can't really dive into that. We got to briefly talk about some of the epochs as well. The first through fourth. We know in the fifth is where the current show takes place at right now. You know, we know Tinga City is about to turn into a whole crater from the event to the first episode. I can't wait till we get there, see how we get there. But yeah, it's mainly about that. And then it actually does a job of talking about the potions, because we don't really talk about digesting potions. So episode, I want to say, 4 again? 4, 3? No, 4. No, we don't got to talk about that to episode 4. It happens and then episode 3 when you actually fully digest it. Because usually in shows, you drink a potion, that's it. The effects happen instantly, or you gotta wait some time for it to happen. But no, like we don't figure that out until later, which, you know, granted again. But this all happens in episode 2. It's supposed to happen in current episode 2, but I don't mind the way they did it on the show. But that's actually pretty cool. They're based off the blasphemy slate. Surprisingly, we had to touch upon Klein and the whole sequence in the tent as well, with the clown and stuff. I guess that went the way it did. I guess what the clown section happened. Not the clown section. I mean, he did run into the clown, but the part. No, I think it was episode 1. That was episode 1. My bad. I'm getting it mixed up. My bad. That's on me. But yeah, I guess this episode got me more hooked to learn the history. Like I really want to learn more about the history. And then we brought some of the dynasty, the Solomon Empire. Was the Tudor dynasty? Where is it? Let's talk about the Dark Emperor. Yeah, the Solomon Empire, the Chunsoest Empire, and the Tudor Dynasty. Yes, these happened during the 4th epoch, but I do wonder if they're gonna bring it back, because we are researching this at the current time. Honestly, I can't wait till we get back to Mr. Azek. I can't wait to get back to him, because I'm waiting till the show goes back to Mr. Azek, because you know he's trying to learn about everything too, even Horniches, the Horniches mountain range stuff, and the Antigonus the Antigonus book as well. We got to dive back into more of it. I can't wait to go back there again. But yeah, I mean, most of this video is more straightforward. Again, it is content, explores more about it. We do know, we did already know about the sense of the potions, how if you take it the wrong way, it makes you mad. I didn't know that you need to take the potions in small, not a small portion, in small increments, but it takes a while to fully digest a potion, a full potion entirely. Then you can move on. It's an actual full-on process. It's a full-on process. I love that a lot too, because it makes it mad complicated. And it's like, I love how he makes it seem like, well, it is a risk. It's a massive risk becoming a Beyonder. It's not always guaranteed, but like, you know, it's really just dumb. You know, you're fighting madness every day, and then there's a high risk of you becoming mad every single day as well. And it's like, it's such a shit show, and I love it. It's a fucked up world, but I love it though. It makes it better. It makes it so much better. But damn. And then also we also touched upon ingredients from the content. We don't really get into that till the recent episode about you actually need to make the potions and make the, you know, get the ingredients for it. And it's a crazy ingredient list with animal parts, this and that, all the parts and everything from the myth creatures, from the mythological creatures. But yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy, but I appreciate it though. God damn. I mean, this video honestly makes me want to dive back into like, I want to dive into the history of it, like the previous 4th epochs before the 5th. Like I generally want to go back and try to, you know, see the beginning, time, creation, the time, you know, understand the creator more, the true creator as well. Different, you know, different beings out there. I feel like it's big, but I mean, obviously, maybe the dongle will cover it again. Maybe it'll cover it when the time is right for that knowledge to be dropped. Who knows? I'll be waiting here impatiently. But other than that, again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will be here on Friday for more Lord of the Mysteries. I will be covering the next 2 chibi videos together, obviously. And again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.